Have you ever heard these phrases? You're remembering it wrong. Don't be so sensitive. I never said that. You're overreacting. You always do this. At first, these may seem harmless. But if they're repeated often, if they make you question yourself, there might be a serious problem. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Gaslighting. A form of manipulation where someone makes you doubt your own reality. And believe me, this doesn't happen only in romantic relationships. It can happen in families, workplaces, friendships, and even in society. What does gaslighting mean? Gaslighting is a type of psychological manipulation. But it's not just a simple lie or a temporary trick. It's a systematic method to make you doubt your own perception, memory, and emotions. The term became popular after the 1944 movie, Gaslight. In the film, a man dims the lights in the house and then tells his wife, "The lights are the same. You're imagining things." Gradually, the woman starts to believe she's losing her mind, just like thousands of people experience today. How does it start? Gaslighting doesn't usually start with big fights or obvious abuse. On the contrary, it often begins with small, seemingly harmless comments. "You're too sensitive." "I didn't say that." "You're remembering wrong." "You're trying to make a scene again." At first, you might ignore these statements. But over time, as they're repeated, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm overreacting. Did I misunderstand? I guess I'm just too emotional. And right at that point, your reality starts falling under someone else's control. Gaslighting tactics. People who gaslight often use certain tactics repeatedly. Denial. "I never said that. This conversation never happened." This tactic makes the victim doubt their own memory. Belittling. You're making a big deal out of nothing. You always find something to get upset about. Your emotions are invalidated. Guilt tripping. "If you didn't act this way, I wouldn't behave like this." The manipulator shifts the blame onto you. Deflection, projection. You raise an issue, but they twist it around and blame you. "It's not about me cheating. You never pay attention to me anyway." Emotional attack and dramatization. You give a simple critique, but their exaggerated reaction turns the situation around, and you end up apologizing. Over time, these behaviors form a cycle, and eventually you stop trusting your own thoughts and feelings. What are the effects? Someone who is subjected to gaslighting may eventually silence their inner voice, lose trust in their memory, constantly apologize, think they are the problem, feel exhausted from explaining themselves, develop serious mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem. And perhaps most painfully, they begin to ask themselves, "Who am I?" How do you know if you're being gaslighted? If you relate to many of the signs below, be careful. You constantly doubt yourself. You struggle to make decisions. You think your emotions are too much. You feel guilty or inadequate all the time. You feel uneasy around a certain person. Their version of events begins to replace your own. This is not a coincidence. This may be systematic psychological manipulation. What should you do? There are ways to protect yourself from gaslighting. It's not easy, but it's possible. Recognize it. The first step is understanding that what you're experiencing is gaslighting. Naming the problem opens the door to solving it. Take notes. Write down what you experience. This helps you see things clearly and move away from thoughts like, am I exaggerating? Trust your feelings. Your instincts don't lie. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Seek support. Talk to a trusted friend, a family member, or a therapist. Sometimes an outsider can see what you can't. Let go if necessary. No matter who the person is, partner, spouse, friend, if they are pulling you away from yourself, you may need to walk away. Because, in real love, no one tries to steal your sense of self. Don't get it twisted. Not every argument or disagreement is gaslighting. Relationships have conflict, differences, and intense emotions. But what we're talking about here is one person systematically distorting the other's reality. If someone constantly makes you question yourself, if you're unsure whether your emotions are real, there is a serious issue. Reality belongs to you. Remember, no one should ever steal your reality from you. What makes you you is your emotions, your memories, and your perspective. Protecting that isn't just a right, it's a responsibility.